So before starting this derivation, you should clearly know about the definition of invertible process. So what is the invertible process? So we have a general linear process like this. Xt is equal to psi of b, some linear function, into epsilon t. So this general linear process can be anything, right? The moving average, the autoregressive, or any other process you're going to learn later. So we have a general linear process. It is said to be invertible if you can write epsilon t in terms of xt. For some valid function phi of b, if you can write this process like this, the process is invertible, right? Now let us examine the invertibility of MAQ process. So let us examine the invertibility. So that is, we shall derive the condition under which the MAQ process is invertible. The invertibility of the MAQ process. So I'll start the derivation with the usual manner. So that is, let epsilon t, t belonging to I, be a white noise process. So it is a white noise process. What is the mean? 0, right? Process with mean 0. And so what is the variance? Variance sigma square. So in notation it is epsilon t follows white noise with 0 mean and variance sigma square. What is the next step? Let xt, t belonging to I, be a time series process, be a time series process, right? Such that, so what is the thing we know? We are going to examine the invertibility of moving average process such that, so let us say that xt follows moving average process of order q. Then what is the representation? We know that xt is equal to epsilon t plus alpha 1 epsilon t minus 1 plus alpha 2 epsilon t minus 2, so on. The last term is alpha q epsilon t minus q. Okay, now, so what are these alpha 1, alpha 2, so on up to alpha q? They are the constants, right? So if I write instead of alpha 1, if I write minus alpha 1, instead of alpha 2, if I write minus alpha 2, and instead of alpha q, if I write minus alpha q, so is there any harm? Since alpha i's are the constants, so they can be either positive or negative. Even if I write plus or minus, it does not matter, right? So it is easy to show the invertibility of MAQ process if I write in terms of negative. So this is not the representation I am using. So instead of positive, I am going to write it as negative. So don't write this one. So we can write xt as epsilon t minus alpha 1 epsilon t minus 1 minus alpha 2 epsilon t minus 2, so on. The last term is alpha q epsilon t minus q. Instead of plus, I am writing minus because it is a linear combination. Plus and minus, positive or negative, doesn't matter. So now, so you will remember what is a backward shift operator. So how you can write x t minus k in terms of backward shift operator? It is k steps back from xt, right? From xt, k steps back. So this is the backward shift operator. So this equation I am going to write in terms of backward shift operator. So that is xt is equal to epsilon t minus alpha 1. What is this term? One step back from epsilon t minus alpha 2. What is this term? Two steps back from epsilon t, so on. The last term is alpha q, q steps back from epsilon t. So in all the terms, epsilon t is a common term, right? So I can take that out. I can write it as 1 minus alpha 1 b minus alpha 2 b square, so on, minus alpha q b power q epsilon t. So next step, let this term, this polynomial, I'm going to take it as theta of b. Let theta of b is equal to 1 minus alpha 1 b minus alpha 2 b square minus so on up to alpha q b power q. Now what is xt? Xt is theta of b into epsilon t. So this is the expression for MAQ process in terms of backward shift operator. Now, so if you see the definition, we have this expression now, right? Xt is equal to some function of epsilon t. So what I should get to prove that it is invertible? I should write epsilon t in terms of pi of b. Sorry, I should write epsilon t in terms of xt with some linear function pi of b, right? So I already have this term. So what if I take theta of b to the other side? See, if you have 2x is equal to some a, so can you simply take x to the other side and write it as divided by? No, right? You can take x to the other side only if x inverse exists, right? So if x inverse is valid, you can take x to the other side. So similarly, here you can take theta of b to the other side only if theta inverse of b exists. I'm going to write the MAQ process is invertible. The MAQ process is invertible if we can write this expression, then MAQ process is invertible, right? So the MAQ process is invertible if epsilon t can be written in terms of xt and theta inverse b exists, right? It should be meaningful. It should be some finite value. Then only this expression is valid. If theta inverse of b is infinite value, then this expression does not have any value, right? So let us see whether this one exists or not. Now consider theta inverse of b. So what is theta? It is 1 minus alpha 1 b minus alpha 2 b square, so on up to the last term alpha q b power q minus 1. That is nothing but 1 whole divided by, okay, so it goes to the numerator, denominator, right? 1 minus alpha 1 b alpha 2 b square, so on up to the last term alpha q bq. Now what is the observation? This is a polynomial of order q, right? So how many roots will be there for this one? So there can be q roots, right? So suppose you have one equation like this, x square minus 5x plus 6. So it is a polynomial of order 2. So how you can, there are two roots. So what are the roots? Minus 2 and minus 3. So how you can write that? X minus 3 and x minus 2. So when there is a polynomial of order 2, there are two roots and you can write it like this. So this is a polynomial of order q. Then how many roots are there? There are q roots and each term you can write it like this. So you write, let m1, m2, mq be the roots of theta of b is equal to 0, right? Then how you can write? You can write it as theta inverse of b is equal to 1 by b minus m1, b minus m2, so on up to b minus mq. So this is theta, okay, here and here. So there are q roots of theta of b is equal to 0. So here you have written x minus 3, x minus 2. Like that, you can, instead of x you have b. So you can write b minus m1, b minus m2, so on up to b minus mq. So now this equation can also be written as the following form. So I'm going to just write it as, so which can be also written as the following for some appropriate, so I'll explain this later. First I'll just write it, for some appropriate AIs, for some appropriate AIs, I's ranging from 1 to so on up to Q, as, so theta inverse of B is equal to 1 whole divided by 1 minus A1B, 1 minus A2B, so on up to the last term 1 minus AQB. So now how to understand this term? So what I'm saying is, this equation, we'll just highlight it. It also has one more representation in terms of AIs. So this expression also has a representation like this. So I'll just highlight both the terms. So how to understand this? Oh, it is very simple. So here this example you see. So I have m1 and m2 as roots. I have written it as b minus m1 and b minus m2, which also has a representation. I can write it as 1 minus 1 by 3 x, 1 minus 1 by 2 x. So this expression is same as this expression. So what I have done, I have simply written it as 1 minus, instead of 3, 1 by 3 x, and here 1, instead of 2 I have written 1 by 2 and x. So if you solve these two equations, you are getting same answers. So that is, I am replacing m by 1 by m. So that I am taking as AI. Right here you have m. I am replacing, I am writing it as 1 by m, which I am taking as A1. So that's what I have done here. So now this can also be written as, so if you remember partial fractions, I is equal to 1 to q ki 1 minus ai b for some appropriate ki's. For some appropriate ki's, I is ranging from 1 to q. So it is partial fractions. So it comes in integration, right? You have the term involving products, so that you can write as a term involving sum. So product is converted into sum using some constants ki. So what are these constants? So we are not interested in finding out these constants, but we say it is for some appropriate ki's. We can write this one in terms of this one. So then, so when you can say that theta inverse of B exists, then theta inverse of B exists if each of the term in the summation should exist, right? If k by 1 minus aib exists, so for the entire range, for all I from 1 to q. So ki is a constant which anyway exists. So we should check whether 1 by 1 minus ai into b exists. So we know that, so hope you will know that condition. We know that 1 by 1 minus aib exists only if, so what is the condition? So when do you say that 1 by 1 minus x exists? So what is 1 by 1 minus x? It is 1 plus x square, so on up to infinite terms, if mod x is less than 1, right? So 1 by 1 minus x exists if mod x is less than 1. So this is in similar form. 1 by 1 minus aib exists only if aib modulus of that term less than 1 for all I 1 to so on up to q. Now how to proceed? That is, so you have mod aib that is less than 1. So that is mod ai less than 1. So what is ai? So if you remember from this expression, instead of m I have written 1 by m as A, right? So A is nothing but 1 by m. So what is the conclusion? A is mod A is less than 1 means 1 by mod AI will be greater than 1, right? So that is theta inverse of B exists if roots of theta of B. So what are the roots of theta of B is equal to 0, m1, m2, so on up to mq lie outside the unit circle, lie outside the unit circle. So why it is unit circle? See, this one is a very important condition. Okay, so what is the meaning of this equation, this expression? AI should be between -1 and +1. So that is, you have a unit circle, that is circle of radius 1. You have 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1. So the AI should lie here. So anywhere it can lie within the unit circle. That is mod AI is less than 1. So that is nothing but AI is 1 by m, right? So if AI is less than 1, then 1 by m should be greater than 1. So the m is the root of theta of b is equal to 0. So that is theta inverse of b exists if roots. So if I say roots, I mean m1, m2, so on up to mq. So these are the roots. Roots of theta of b must lie outside the unit circle. So why I am saying unit circle? Because modulus term, it represents somewhat the circle, right? So ai should be between -1 and 1. So it represents a circle. So it should lie outside the unit circle. So this is the condition for invertibility of MAQ process. So that is, the MAQ process is invertible if the roots of theta of b, roots of theta of b lie outside the unit circle, lie outside the unit circle, which is again same as saying mod b is greater than 1. So if you say b as the root of theta of b is equal to 0, b is the root obviously, mod b must be greater than 1. So this is a very important condition, so which you are going to use frequently in the future while studying time series. So very important condition, that is, the moving average process is invertible if the roots of theta of b lie outside the unit circle, that is mod b is greater than 1.